Good evening, Murder Shirt fans. Before we get into this episode, we just want to put a quick trigger warning out there. As we dive into the case of Dennis Rader, also known as BTK, we will be getting into some pretty graphic areas. There is mention of sexual violence, strangulation, asphyxiation. Children are involved in this, unfortunately, as well as many female victims and rape. If any of you have been affected or bothered or triggered by any of these, please do not listen to this episode. We really appreciate all of your support and everything you guys do for us, but we want you to take care of yourself and make sure you don't get triggered by these. Have a great night, and now over to Tim.
What is going on? Thank you, Classroom Jackie.
No problem.
Welcome to another wonderful week here. It's our favorite time of the week, as we always say, Saturday nights. I know we got a little bit of a later start tonight, but that's all right. We had some things we had to take care of, so nothing wrong with a late start to set the mood tonight. Welcome to another episode here on the Murder Show. I'm your host, as always, Tim. And alongside of me is my co-host, Criminology Chris.
Good evening.
And Classroom Jackie. I love my brain.
Hey, guys.
As Classroom Jackie had stated tonight, it's going to be pretty intense with who we're talking about. If a lot of you aren't familiar with this particular killer here, I was not myself until we really started to dive in and do some research. Let's put it this way, we had about a 4-hour prep last night, and it's pretty intense. But we will cover all that eventually here. We'll get there. If we technically wanted to, we could split this up in about a 2-part series. Probably, Chris said like a 4-part, but...
There's a lot of information.
Yeah. But it's good to see everybody up on the live stream there. And just want to make sure we do appreciate, follow, shares, and likes on all the social media. Everything keeps going up number-wise every week, and we appreciate that. Subscribers, if you have not subbed to our YouTube channel here, please click that subscribe button and like this video here. What that'll do is it will notify you every week for when we're about to go live or for when we schedule our next live show. So you'll have a first look at who we're going to be doing next week. And I usually post that like Monday or so. So other than that, let's go ahead and dive into Dennis Rader here, also known as the BTK killer. And I'm going to shoot things over to Criminology Chris. He's going to get things started for us. I lied. I'm not going to send him over to Criminology Chris. I guess I can get things started here. As we always do, we start off, childhood and kind of work our way up. So, childhood of Dennis Lynn Rader. His middle name's Lynn, right? That's all right, though, I guess. I don't know. He was born March 9th, 1945 in Pittsburgh, Kansas. Did not know there was a Pittsburgh out there.
It's a very small town.
Yeah, what's it? Population of about, 300 or something? Maybe not even that.
I'm not sure exactly.
He was born to his mother, Dorothea William Elvin, right? Is that what I'm...
No, William is his dad.
I always screw these names up. I do apologize.
Dorothea
was his mother. William Elvin was his dad. Who was a Marine. His parents were very strict. No abuse, though, as far as we know. They didn't abuse him or nothing.
Right.
They were just strict.
I mean, once again, like it's similar to last, that we talked. There wasn't a whole lot pointing the reason behind why this guy ended up the way he did. I mean, there were a few things, and we'll cover those. But for the most part, I mean, his family was, outright abusive. There wasn't anything crazy happening here. I mean, it was typical Midwest stuff. Grew up out in the middle of nowhere. They killed chickens, things like that, whatever. But I mean, there wasn't anything just outrageous that his dad was doing. Mother was doing.
Okay. So nothing like kind of what we've seen in the past then. I know his mom worked 2 jobs. Both his parents worked a lot. They weren't really around a lot. So they weren't really spending a whole lot of time with the kids.
No, he did say growing up he felt like he was neglected and that he just didn't have that time. But he said his father and mother were never abusive towards him.
Okay. Well, I mean, I could see the neglecting part. They're never around, you know. I mean, a lot of kids would feel like that. I would feel like that too. I didn't really have that kind of upbringing. My dad worked all the time, but my mom was around, so I can't really say I know what it's like. But and he was interested. He did scouts. He liked comic books, fishing, you know, reading novels and stuff. So I don't know, Classroom Jackie, if you want to kind of continue a little bit with his childhood,
Yeah.
or if I don't screw up any more names.
It happens. I screwed up so many last week.
That's all right.
Like you said, he did enjoy growing up, the scouts, comics, fishing, novels. He did also harbor pretty awful, sadistic sexual fantasies about torturing helpless women. And that was at a really young age. And he liked to make them feel trapped and helpless. As a student, he went to Wichita High School. He was said to not play any sports or partake in any clubs, but was described by his classmates as utterly lacking of humor. Just no humor whatsoever. He was always the guy in the back.
Yeah. Yeah, just kind of like the sociopathic, not emotional. Yeah.
Kind of kept to himself.
They said he was more of a background character, pretty much.
That's probably where you sat back in the back of the classroom and drew all the pictures.
Yeah.
This guy was such a jackass.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, I've been holding back already, but I mean, I gotta be honest. Like, I mean, I studied this guy earlier in life through college and that. And as a matter of fact, you know, we'll get into it and we'll go down the road as a timeline of what he did and how he did it and when he did it and that sort of thing. But he was wrapping up what he did about the same time that I was about halfway through a criminal justice major in college when I was there. So you know, we had a lot of conversations. I mean, there were weeks of conversation because this whole thing was coming to a conclusion. You know, after he did what he did, I mean, starting back in the 70s, and then he got, you know, and then he just kind of vanished for a little while during the 90s, and nobody heard from him, and he pops back out, and he ended up getting collared sometime in the early 2000s. I think it was 2004, 2005. So yeah, I had a lot of talks, a lot of conversation in class, things like that. But, this guy was a bumbling idiot. He was just a moron. You know, this guy was such a narcissist. He wanted everybody to believe that he was some kind of crafty, you know, guy that had these, you know, clandestine, magical, whatever you want to call them, ways of coming up with these ways of doing things. He was more or less a copycat guy. This guy copied a lot of stuff from other serial killers. He read magazines to get ideas.
Yeah.
He watched TV to get ideas. This guy was not a.
He was unoriginal.
No, yeah, he was not a. This guy was not a brain surgeon, man. This guy was kind of just a bumbling moron. He kind of got started doing what he did, and he tried to learn from it, and he kept on sucking time after time.
Didn't he have to buy a stress ball?
Well, yeah.
He was trying very hard to fit in, is what you're saying?
Right.
He wanted to be everybody else he couldn't be.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm stepping on your toes, Jackie, but like even in
No, you're not.
early in his life, like there were talks of him having issues with bedwetting and things. There was an instance that we researched, found out that there was a situation in which his mother actually got a ring stuck on her hand on a couch spring and was stuck in this couch and was helpless. And Dennis, even at an early age, was aroused by this. So there were some things, once again, early on in his life that screamed like, hey, there's something going on here. They talk about him potentially having a paraphilic disorder, which is typically an attraction to a inanimate object, similar to shoes or socks
Hose.
or
Yeah.
or not even
Yeah.
not even toes, because those are they're at least attached to a human. For like people that get arousal from looking at a refrigerator
Or a car.
or something like exactly. So it's that kind of thing. So these things manifest early in life, and then they become stronger as you get older. They don't just go away. Typically, they'll end up just building and building, in a fashion in which hopefully you don't act on it. Everybody that has these type of disorders doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to be a serial killer. You may not even be a bad person, but it's a lot more common in men than it is in women. And some of these people that have these disorders, they will build to a point where they almost become unmanageable as they get into later on in life.
So saying that it's a lot more common in men than in women, is that because our, sexual drive is higher? Is that why, like, as far as like, fantasy and stuff?
I would have to imagine. I mean, honestly, once again, I'm not a doctor and I'm not a psychologist and I'm not
a doctor.
But it, you have to imagine. I mean, young boys, like we're not thinking with our head 90% of the time.
No, we're thinking with the other head.
Right, and then you get into your 20s and 30s. It doesn't necessarily get better until it maybe tapers off when you get a little bit older and you start realizing that you were an idiot when you were an age.
I'm pretty sure girls are just as tough as idiots when they're teenagers.
Yeah,
at least that's my dad. I was.
It kind of seems like they don't act on it as much, at least. They're not going out of their way to obtain partners and things. I don't think as ruthlessly as the typical young guy.
Yeah. Dumpster Man David. Or whatever his name is. Anyways.
It's a new one today.
It's a new one today. David. All right. Let's continue on with his childhood here.
So, moving on down the road, he started drawing girl traps. He started, he was very interested in pornography that related to situations in which women were bonded pornography and things like that. But that kind of leads us into reasons like I said before. This guy, before we get into the murders, I just want to kind of touch on some of the aspects of who Dennis was as a human being and why I feel like this guy is such an idiot. So
yeah, this guy is. Wait till we get into this, guys. I mean, this guy is just nuts.
I just don't get how he did what he did for being like a God-fearing man, as well as dealing with like being wasn't he a community police officer?
Yeah, he's the head of congregation of a church, and he I think he was in charge of Boy Scouts.
He was a Cub Scout leader.
Scary.
Cub Scout leader. So this guy had a lot of good positions and roles in life.
Kind of like Gacy. I mean, Gacy
was a clown for kids' parties.
Yeah, and he had a huge name in the whole community.
But he was the head of a precinct.
Yeah,
in a ward northwest of Chicago.
Yeah,
it was the same situation. Everybody looked at this guy like, "Oh, this guy's not bad. What are you talking?"
There's no way he did it.
Yeah, nobody would have suspected this guy, which speaks to possibly why this guy wasn't, nailed in the first place, because he was doing this stuff in broad daylight. It wasn't like he was doing this, ninja stuff where he was dressing all black and sneaking into people's houses when they were sleeping.
Yeah.
I mean, this was like blatantly dumb, middle of the day. Like, you should have got caught. What the hell were you thinking? Sort of situation.
Yeah, it wasn't like Kraft last week where he was driving around all night looking for people. staying up at night, you know.
Right. Yeah, this is not like one of those situations similar to Dahmer and similar to Kraft that we've talked about before, where this guy was preying on people that were obviously displaced or unattached to people in the community. These were people that were in his community.
Exactly a 3.5 mile radius from each other, too.
Yeah. I mean, and these were people that had families that had, I mean, sometimes had families that were maybe gone for a few hours that were coming back home to find this stuff, you know? And these were people in, like, suburbia, man. I mean, there were people, like, next door that could have looked out their window and saw this, see this dumb idiot, you know, balding monk haircut guy breaking into the back of these people's houses.
The Einstein wannabe.
Yeah. It's kind of. I'm looking at his mugshot here. Yeah, I can see it.
And hair for me. Hair.
I don't know what he's got going on there, but
he wasn't a little human being. I mean, this guy was a big dude. You know, he was a big, tall, guy.
He was everybody was very trusting of him because of how he approached them. Like, I'm here to do this. Hey, I'm checking this. Hey, have you seen this person? Things like that.
Right. You'd see this guy approaching your house. You'd assume that he was either trying to maybe sell you or try to get you hooked on a Bible or try to get you to join a Boy Scout troop, or he was the principal from your kid's school and your kid screwed up and did something badly. He didn't typically look like a, typical, to-do, he's going to hurt my family or he's going to hurt me kind of guy.
He wasn't the guy trying to sell pest control for the foundation of your house.
Yeah. So if you're not familiar with this guy, I mean, BTK stood for bind, torture, kill. It was a self-prescribed nickname. This guy, I mean...
I have the other nicknames he wanted to be known as.
You want to read them off?
I do. Some of these they're all pathetic, but they're funny.
What Chris and Jackie are saying here for you guys is he went out of his way to try to come up with his own nickname. So most of these killers and stuff, other people or the community or police or whatever will give them these names, unless you're, Dahmer, Gacy, whatever. They just go by their actual name. But this guy went out of his way, and when you hear these names, to come up with his own name, you're going to sit there and shake your head. So
it's similar to like what you hear in like a high school. We have a senior superlative where everybody gets named in the yearbook. And that kind of thing where everybody's like, oh yeah, you're going to be the guy that's going to do great things in life, or you're the guy that's going to run the podcast show. I'm the guy that's going to sit here and play on my cell phone, or I'm going to be the guy that does whatever, owns a motorcycle, whatever.
Buy socks offline,
But this guy is just a self-prescribed nicknaming guy. So these are suggestions that Jackie has that he actually went to the news with, and he suggested to the news that, hey, maybe you could call me one of these.
Yeah, these are really dumb. The first one, which was the Wichita Strangler. He wanted to be known as the Poetic Strangler, the Bondage Strangler, the Wichita Hangman, the Garrote Phantom. The next is the Asphyxiator, which sounds like a pest control company. It does. And then finally, he said, bind them, torture them, kill them, which was BTK at the end, which he started going as by himself.
I want to go back to the Garrote Phantom. What in the fuck is the Garrote Phantom?
Phantoms only come out at night, by the way. It's not during the day.
What's Garrote?
Garrote would be in relation to strangulation. Yeah.
So the strangulation phantom?
People
through using ligature and that.
I could see him trying. Okay, I could see like a town hall meeting, and people voting on how many yays do we have for Garrote Phantom,
He would go, me.
Two nays and one yay, and it's the jackass in the corner that looks like Einstein, So.
Yeah, he ended up landing on BTK, which he had his own cute little logo drawn up, in which the B of the BTK had nipples on it, and it looked like something that a fourth
You
grader
can
would
find it,
draw.
and it is hilarious.
Yeah, it's absurd.
It's like a
absolutely
kindergarten drawing.
Nipples on the B.
Nipples on the V.
So anyway, I mean, without like getting too deep into it, because once again, we'll go through all the murders individually. But this guy was basically his thing was to strangle. That's what he enjoyed. That's what he was after. That's what he intended to do. Whether or not he put an idea into these people's head that this wasn't going to happen and this wasn't going to be the thing that was going to take place, this was the majority of the reason why he was doing what he did. Because he, throughout his life, had an interest in women being bound and being helpless and that kind of thing. And that's what kind of drove him to commit the acts that he was trying to commit. He wasn't breaking into these houses to kill the husbands or the boys or whatever the case may be. In some cases he did, obviously, but that wasn't his house. A lot of times he was after a specific female. This guy was stalking people for a number of days, weeks, or what have you prior to. It was part of what he did. Like, he started off by trolling these people and just watching them go in and out of their house. But anyway, I just thought I'd touch on that. That way you get an idea of why exactly he wanted to be called these things and why he suggested to the news that he should have these cute nicknames.
So do you think, just from your point of view, do you think that maybe some of these fantasies and stuff that he was getting, do you think that could have somewhat come from that he never had parents around growing up?
It's hard. It's hard to say that not having parents around led to you wanting to tie up women and have them be helpless, right? But,
true.
I mean, maybe there was some issue there that he had with his mother, but once again, like, some of these people and paraphilia as a disorder doesn't necessarily manifest, I don't think, specifically due to an environmental situation that you have throughout your child.
Yeah, it could have been multiple.
I don't think anything there points to this kind of stuff.
Okay. I was just curious because, that's what we do on here. We try to get into the mind or whatever as best as we can. We're not, doctors or professionals, but could have just been, wiring issue in the brain, as they say,
Yeah.
Well, if you look at him, he doesn't look like the smartest crayon, or not the smartest crayon, the smartest one in the bunch, or the sharpest crayon in the box.
Yeah, he kind of looks, I don't know, when you look at him, and I'm looking at his mugshot from '05, but when you look at him, he just has that sick, kind of twisted look in his eye. You know how some of them have that look when you look at him? It's almost like they say, like you're staring right through him into his soul,
Like they just look like they're dead. Like it's just a death stare.
Yeah.
His personality, though, once again, going back to why I feel he's a damn moron, is this guy is kind of like the type of guy that would show up to play racquetball and bring a damn golf club. And you can look at him in his face and you can just say, shit, that's him. That's the guy. That's the guy that, like,
he's the window licker.
Yeah, right. That's the guy that puts the cat in the dishwasher. Like, that's the guy that, it's just dumb things. So, in addition to all these stupid things that we're going to discuss once again throughout the murders and what happened in Kansas at that time, this guy actually, once again, he wanted to follow in the footsteps of a lot of famous serial killers. So there was he actually wanted to have a murder barn instead of a murder castle. That was one of his things.
Wow.
So this guy wanted to have a red murder barn, and he wanted to lay it out just like a murder castle, but he wouldn't be able to afford a murder castle, obviously. So he just had to fall back to having just a barn or a silo, I believe it was, where he wanted to have an office at the top, and he wanted to have a place where he could torture people.
Yeah, he said office up there with a drawing desk a desk so he can sit there and write, and one light.
Yeah, so he had his off-brand jackwagon murder bar that he wanted to have. This guy also submitted a lot of documentation to TV outlets and news outlets and that kind of thing. This guy could not spell to save his life.
I found a letter.
Yeah, and we'll have Jackie. I would love you to read this because honestly, like he didn't understand the idea behind the contraction. And I'm not talking about anything fancy. I'm talking about it turning into it's. Like the plurality part. Like he dropped S's. The guy could not spell to save his life. He wrote poetry. I think it's like a juvenile poor attempt at
It was a ripoff of everything.
Yeah, it's a juvenile bullshit attempt at poetry. Like, I mean, I think I wrote cutesy, awful stuff like that back when I was a kid that made just as much sense. But anyway, would you like to read something that he wrote?
I would like to read it, but you have to discuss about the first murder before I can read the letter for it to make sense.
Well, I guess, yeah, we probably should go into that first. So, but in addition to we'll cover some of the other reasons why I think Dennis is an idiot as we go on through this. But we'll get into the first murder here, which actually took place in 1974.
And this is going to be the first time where I'm not doing all the speaking of the murders because this one makes me exceptionally mad.
Yes. So we're going down a dark road.
And this is that trigger warning that comes into play if you don't listen if you do not want to.
Yeah. No kids around if they're in the room.
Absolutely not.
This is pretty, morbid.
It's pretty graphic.
Messed up, so.
Yeah, this story does, this specific case, the first murder that he committed did involve a couple children. And it was the Otero family. And there was, 4 children, I believe, total.
There was. 2 of them were not home during this.
But 2 of them were not present during the time this occurred. Now, as I discussed earlier, this guy had a way of doing things in which he would go and, he was, in his own mind, he was brilliant. So he was studying these houses and trying to figure out his way in and when they were going to be home and when each person did what they did and when they went to school, when they went to work. It didn't, obviously, things happen in life. There are so many reasons why these things don't stay the same day in and day out. So you can study someone's moves day in and day out. It doesn't mean that the next day is going to all to be the same. And in this case, it certainly wasn't. So Dennis, regarding his first murder, showed up to the Otero family home. And this was in the morning. This is like at 8:30 in the morning. So he goes up to this house. He cuts the phone line, which we'll talk about that later, too. It ends up being one of his things that he wants to be known for because he feels he should be known for things like every other serial killer. But he's probably going to reach out and make sure that everybody knows to know him for that. So he cuts the phone line, and then he goes to the back door, and the child comes to the back door, and I believe to let the dog out. And he didn't even know these guys had a dog.
But he's been following them and watching them, right?
Right.
And he doesn't know they have a dog. That's great.
So he studies them because he's such a crafty guy. And he has no idea that his family has a dog. So right then and there, what's really sad and disturbing is that at that point in time, he actually considered backing out of this.
Because the dad was there and because of the kid.
Yeah, well, the dad was there and the kid.
And the
but
dog.
He also didn't want to deal with the dog either.
Because he liked dogs, but he hated cats.
Right. Yeah. So when he was a kid, part of the animal cruelty thing, he actually strangled cats. But anyway, so he got into this house. What he did was he had a 22 long rifle pistol, that he took in, and he ended up grabbing Mr. Otero by his collar and telling him that he had a 22 long rifle with hollow points and this and that. I mean, kind of a, I don't know, who goes in and mugs a family with a 22? I mean, it's kind of ridiculous.
I was going to say, you said that's like a step above a
Just a step above a pellet rifle.
pellet rifle, okay.
Right. So, I mean, that's the smallest little handgun you could probably find. It's probably quieter. And actually, a lot of murders are actually committed with 22s because they say that a 22, if you get shot with one and it hits you, it actually bounces around inside of your body as opposed to going right through you, which ends up tearing up organs and things like that.
Really?
And actually could be more dangerous than just a 45, which is just going to go right through your body.
Yeah.
So, but he ends up grabbing Mr. Otero, and he ends up taking the family. I believe it was in 2 different rooms.
Was.
So he takes Mr. Otero and the wife, and he basically he tries to asphyxiate both of these people. He puts bags over their head. I think he initially tries to choke them, and this is one of his crafty things. He thinks he's brilliant. Everybody thought he was trying to torture people, but he was really just bad at strangling. So
No, seriously, like, wait until you hear how awful this guy was.
They actually found like multiple strangle marks on some of his victims, and were under the assumption that this guy was killing people or bringing them to the brink of death and then bringing them back. And everybody was like, "Oh, this guy's much more terrifying than honestly they should give him credit for," because that wasn't the case. He just sucked at strangling.
I mean, he did get off on the strangulation thing. He used to do it to himself, the asphyxiation for his turkeys.
Right. Yeah. He would bring these people like within to the point of passing out is what happened. And a lot of times he'd bring these people to that point and they'd pass out and then end up waking back up, which is ridiculous. I mean, like, so he didn't know. He even himself said that he didn't know how much pressure it took. Like, he had strangled animals, but he had no idea how much pressure this was going to take.
Or how long it actually took.
Yeah, or how long it took to actually strangle these people. So he ended up putting both of them to sleep, and he ended up moving on to the young boy, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, he went to Joseph, which I believe was 9 years old.
Yeah.
Joseph Jr.
Yeah.
And he strangles Joseph, and he finds that these guys they're not dying.
Mr. Otero had chewed a hole through the bag over his head.
Right. So, and he realized that there was an issue with the whole bag thing. So he decided to back off the whole bag he ended up actually taking T-shirts and putting over the bag and then putting a bag over the T-shirts. That way they were unable to actually bite through the bag. So then he realized, man, this isn't good. Like, they could actually chew a hole through the bag. I never thought that people had teeth.
He's probably sitting there thinking like, man, this job's harder than I thought, you know?
So, but unfortunately, I mean, after he put a bag over Joseph Jr.'s head, put a T-shirt over it, put another bag over it, Joseph Jr. struggled, and then he ended up falling off a bed, I believe, in a room, and dying. He went back to the mother and father, and basically the same situation.
He took a belt off of the father and used it to strangle him around his neck.
Yeah. So he used a ligature to strangle the father because he couldn't do it with just his hands. So he realized how hard it was.
Didn't he also comfort them all before he offed them?
And that was a big part of it too, which was strange. You know, this guy he got off really on the idea of people not suspecting him being who he was. When he initially broke in, you know, he told them that he was trying. I think he was trying to get money.
He was trying to get to California, and he was on the run from the Air Force because he has his Air Force parka on.
So these guys, yeah, they thought he was just gonna break in, steal some stuff, and they're like, "Oh, here, take this, and take a couple of our objects laying around the house,
Take our money and leave.
and get out of here." And lo and behold, the guy had the intent to actually strangle and kill them, but he didn't want them to feel that way. And actually, prior to this taking place, Mr. Otero had actually cracked a rib. So while he had initially bound these guys
With first aid tape.
Like, he put a pillow under Mr. Otero to make him more comfortable because his ribs hurt. They actually had an issue with the first aid tape because they said it was hurting their hands and cutting off the circulation. So Dennis, being such a swell guy, went and undid the first aid tape and used a cord instead.
It was a shoestring, and then they complained that they were too tight, so he loosened them. Them.
Yeah. Right. But he didn't want to hurt their feelings under the assumption that, he knew what he was doing.
He was, and that's the creepy side. Like, you're comforting your victims before you kill them.
Because I think the biggest thing for him was the look of shock on their face when they realized that he had intent to actually take their lives, in addition to just tying them up and taking their stuff.
I wonder if he almost, for some reason, and I know this sounds kind of weird, but if he had a little bit of a heart, and that's why certain things bothered him. Well, you know what I mean? I don't know. I mean, that sounds...
He was married and did have 2 kids.
Right. Yeah, he was married. He was a family guy.
He was a fantastic father, from what I know, dedicated father, a church leader, all of that stuff.
Yeah, but it's almost like, is he kind of going in and out like
in multiple faces?
Yeah, exactly.
So Dennis actually referred to something that he described, he called cubing. And what he described as cubing was each individual side of the cube was a different face of Dennis. Like, he's like, oh, I can be a family guy here, and I can be the murderer over here. Mm-hmm. But he just turns the cube basically to be whatever he needs to be at any given time. Which, okay. I mean, you could just say, Dennis, you're all of those things. Like, not only are you a father, but you're a shitty human being and a murderer at the same time. There's no needing to turn the cube. Like, you are good and you suck all the time.
Yeah, everything all in one.
Yeah. Well, being a despicable human being, I mean, going down like Jackie said, this guy really got off on the fact that he was comforting these people and making them believe that nothing bad was going to happen. And when it did, the look of shock on their faces, he just enjoyed, which is absolutely disgusting.
Yeah.
And as we get to Josephine, this is probably the more disgusting part of this situation.
She was only 11.
I mean, she was 11 years old. I mean, it's already... The kid was 9. Joseph was 9. I mean, that was just absolutely horrific. But what he did to Josephine, he told her that she was going to go be in heaven with her family. And I believe he initially, put her to sleep and carried her downstairs, right?
He did. He put her to sleep and carried her downstairs and then undressed her.
He took her down to the basement, and what he did was he actually bound her. He actually took a noose and hung it over a sewer pipe.
I think he said with 5 knots in it.
Yeah, with 4 or 5 knots in it, whatever. I don't care how many knots there were. It's just disgusting. But what he did was he undressed her, I believe, at least the bottom half of her.
And he took a knife to her bra.
Yeah.
And then he took a knife to her, yeah. And then he ended up actually putting the noose around her neck. And and hanging her. And as he hung her, he actually pleasured himself to it. Which, at the end of the day, after Charlie, the oldest son, was the one that ended up finding this crime scene, that actual act of him doing that in the basement with Josephine actually led to a collection of evidence that would inevitably end up putting him away from it. So it's disgusting. They ended up going in there to collect evidence. They took a few different samples, and it was the smartest thing that the police ever did. They went in and they took samples. They took scrapings off the concrete. I believe that there was some DNA evidence on her.
Yeah.
And that they collected, and they collected like a powder. They froze some, and then they put some in liquid, and they saved this for 30 some odd years.
Yeah, that was really smart. Yeah, it was semen that was found on her bottom part. Yeah.
Doesn't DNA like that over 30 years in a liquid break down?
No, definitely not if it's frozen. I mean, you have hospitals today, one of which out in, Ports Cleveland that actually stores semen samples. There's guys that are going to pass away that will store semen samples for their families, so their wives have an opportunity to have another child in case they want to have another child that belongs to that guy. He might be dying of cancer or something like that. So, like, there's a way of preserving this information, which it's a damn good thing that they did.
Yeah, I think that's the same hospital you're talking about that a couple years ago, if you remember, they had their, what was it, coolers all break.
Oh, yeah, the refrigerators.
Yeah, they shut down and there was a big ordeal.
Yeah, with all of that semen, yeah. God, could you imagine that what you're trying to transport, move all that, What happened? The semen is fine. Yeah.
It's awful.
That's crazy.
Yeah, the legal issues.
Oh, yeah, by far. But
anyway, getting back to Dennis and being a moron. So
Chris has been dying.
So
he's gone so deep into this.
He has been dying to what is it?
Bash him.
Yeah, but I can't think. Roast him. It's like our own roasting show of Dennis here,
Yeah. In addition to not being able to spell, wanting to have a murder barn, being terrible at poetry. I mean, every time this guy went in and actually tried to kill somebody, he did something spellbindingly stupid. In this specific case, he actually went and stole the family's car after the murder had taken place, and he actually drove it to a grocery store and left it there. And then his stupid ass realized that he left his knife there. So I got to go back and I got to get my knife. So he gets in his own car and drives back to the Otero's house, parks his car and goes outside, and lo and behold, his knife is where he cut the phone line. I mean, he hadn't even interacted with anybody yet to even be stressed out.
Yeah.
And he's already, like, just leaving stuff at crime scenes. Once again, during this period of time, there isn't a whole lot of DNA evidence, and issues with fingerprinting and all this kind of stuff, these fancy ways of finding people that ended up becoming commonplace now. But still, this guy was just leaving stuff laying on the ground.
Yeah, and they also said, I remember too, when he originally got into the house, Otero family had told him they can have the keys to the vehicle, but it's out of gas just about. And he still ended up taking it, knowing that it was pretty much out of gas.
Yeah, they apparently didn't have a whole lot of money.
Yeah, but it's just like, dude, you're so stupid, They already told you it's pretty much empty. And he's like, I'm going to steal it.
I'm going to take your car to the grocery store.
Yeah. It's like, oh my gosh.
Yeah, but the police, especially the child, Charlie, was the older son that had to come home and find that situation. It's just absolutely disturbing. I couldn't even imagine walking into that. And that kind of stuff didn't happen in Wichita at the time, down around there.
It was the leave your doors unlocked, all sorts of types of place.
Yeah.
Everybody knew each other.
Well, even in the early 70s, I think there was a lot more of that because the media wasn't just blowing things out of proportion and covering a lot of this stuff, or maybe it just wasn't happening as often. Yeah. I have to imagine that it was happening as often. They just didn't publicize it as much as people know about it.
Probably, yeah.
You want me to go on to the next one? Or you want me to read that letter?
Oh, I want you to read the letter.
So that was his first murder that he had committed.
That was. And he did do a couple more in there, but we're not going to cover all of them, obviously, because there was a bunch.
Yeah. So now you're going to read
this letter.
His letter, or is this a poem?
This is his letter that he wrote.
So this is a letter, and this has to do with the Otero family?
Does.
Okay. All right. So brace yourselves. This one's going to be fucking wild.
In October 1974, 9 months after the Otero family murders, the Wichita Eagles' Don Granger received an anonymous call, presumably from the Otero killer himself. The call directed him to a mechanical engineering textbook in the Wichita Public Library. In the book, Granger found a letter claiming credit for the killings of the Joseph Otero family and promising more victims. The authenticity of the letter was not in doubt since it contained all the details the police and killer would only know. This letter, and this is a little excerpt of it, started out by saying, the killer wrote that the three individuals being questioned because they did arrest somebody for this, and they had confessed at the time that the three people who were arrested did not do it, and it wasn't them.
Yeah, I don't think that there was a possibility for the three guys that, were initially interrogated for this murder could have been present at the time of the murder.
No.
So I think the prosecution dropped it anyway. But at the same time, old Dennis, being a crazy narcissist and having a massive ego, couldn't stomach the idea of somebody being, taking credit for what he had done.
Mm-hmm.
Gotcha.
So there is a lot of misspellings in this, and it is not me mispronouncing things. It is horribly misspelled.
It's Dennis. It's not Classroom Jackie. I love my brain. It's Dennis.
I write this letter to you for the sake of the taxpayer as well as your time. Those three dude you have in custody are just talking to get publicity for the Otero murders. They know nothing at all. I did it by myself and with no one's help. There has been no talk either. Let's put this straight. The killer provided details of the crimes and crime scene that were not published in the newspaper at this time, and I have not found online, and I don't want to read. The next expert.
That was Classroom Jackie.
No.
Excerpt. I'm sorry this happened to society. They are the ones who suffer the most. It's hard to control myself. You probably call me psychotic with sexual perversion hang-up. When this monster enter my brain, I will never know. But it here to stay. How does one cure himself? If you ask for help, that you have killed 4 people, they will laugh or hit the panic button and call the cops. I can't stop it, so the monster goes on, and hurt me as well as society. Society can be thankful that there are ways for people like me to relieve myself at times by daydreams of some victims being tortured and being mine. It a big, complicated game. My friend of the monster played putting victims' number down. Follow them, checking up on them, waiting in the dark, waiting. The pressure is great, and sometimes he run the game to his liking. Maybe you can stop him. I can't. He has already chosen his next victim, or victims. I don't know who they are yet. The next day after I read the paper, I will know. But it's too late. Good luck hunting. Yours, truly, guiltily. Although the letter wasn't signed, it contained a postscript. P.S. Since sex criminals do not change their M.O., or by nature cannot do so, I will not change mine. The code word for me will be find them, torture them, kill them. BTK. You see, he added again. They will be on the next victim.
I think he has a hard time with the apostrophe S on the end of
There
those.
was no commas.
Fractions, like I just left the building.
Yeah.
So many run-on sentences.
Yeah.
Absolutely awful.
It
Zero
has no,
zeros.
it entered my body, like, wow. So hopefully nobody's IQ dropped over there, because mine sure as hell did.
Yeah.
Oh, it was awful.
Yeah, so in addition to the things that this guy was responsible for, he also, once again, he would enjoy stealing things from people, because early on he actually did some break and entering, in which he really got off on the idea of taking other people's stuff or going into other people's houses, handling their stuff.
Didn't he used to take cups and drink water out of them and then wash them and put them back?
So he was the evil guy that came into your house to drink your water.
I have to know.
Yes.
How is anybody going to know that you took a drink out of their cup and drank water after you washed the cup and put it away?
You should have put lipstick on first.
Come on, let's give these people that live there the benefit of the doubt. They might have had a DNA kit in the closet. We all carry those, right? Chris, you got a DNA
yeah, in the 70s, I think that was pretty common, right?
Yeah. It's like, COVID kit, DNA kit, That's what I always kept.
Yeah, with this guy, I mean, once again, he would steal stuff from people. He used to hide them around his house, and also, I believe he hid
At
a
that
lot
silo,
of stuff.
that farm,
his parents' house.
Mhm.
I think he hid a lot of it.
In his hidey holes.
Yeah, he called them his hidey holes.
That's so childish.
Where he would,
Such a kid.
I don't know what he was doing, like removing the register or something like that on a cold air intake and sticking it somewhere. Where his hidey holes were exactly in the house. But even after the Otero murder, I think he got a little nervous. He destroyed a lot of the stuff that he had actually procured or had, or drawings.
He had at one point thrown the Otero watch, but he did keep a couple things because it was found later down the road when he got caught.
Right. So this guy had a bounty of people's things that he decided to keep. In addition to his own nickname, he also used to, he actually referred to his methodology and his frame of mind as being, referring to it as Factor X.
He said that was what made all serial killers. It was a supernatural power for all of them.
Yeah, they all had Factor X. This is the guy. This is the guy.
He's a fucking child.
You can't make this shit up.
This is the guy that you'd walk around in school and snap with a rubber band because he's a dork.
Push him down the stairs.
Put a kick me sign on his back.
He was locker boy.
Yeah, you stuffed him in a locker. I mean, this guy's such a dweeb.
Purple nipples.
In addition to that, he also started, regarding his next murder, and we'll get into that here in a second, he actually gave some of these events or murders nicknames, or referred to them as something, in which the next murder that took place was Catherine Bright, which was a woman that he was following around for a while, and he nicknamed gave it the name Project Lights Out.
No, Project Lights Out was a 63-year-old almost victim where he broke into her house and waited for her, and she didn't come back in time, and he got pissed and left.
No, Project Lights Out was a spoof on the name Bright.
Yeah.
Oh,
Catherine Bright.
Well,
yeah.
I'm wrong.
Yeah,
that's all
because
right.
there was one of his victims that was at nighttime compared to all the rest of his daytime ones.
I'm sure they gave them some cute name too.
Project Cookie, I think it was.
Like there was a Nancy Fox down the road that he referred to as Project Foxhunt.
Oh yeah.
So he gave them all these neat names. That, it was, I guess, it just made him a cool guy.
Project
He's a moron.
So I want to touch on something that is absolutely ridiculous. And
when we tell you he has been researching and preparing for this, he has been researching.
Well, Yeah, and this was for a lot of you regular listeners and stuff. Each of us have been picking somebody that we wanted to, cover, and this week was Chris's, and this was his pick.
And I just hate him. I hate this guy so bad.
Yeah,
I hate him so bad.
I think it makes this episode even funnier.
So, in addition to that,
agreed.
he actually referred to having orgasms. Do you know what he called them?
Oh, this is great.
Can I say it, please? Can I
Brace
say
yourself.
Well, I'll let Jackie say it because she knows what it is and share it with it. But
This is great.
Please.
This is being referred to as your guy, tugging on your meat.
Ready for this? Sparky big times.
She's been waiting all night to say that.
Yeah.
She
Sparky big
He
time.
nicknamed his penis Sparky.
Yeah.
Why?
So if it caused him to have pleasure or bring him to that
Big time.
point, he referred to it as a Sparky big, which
It
is
sounds
just
like a big top, like a circus.
like, Dennis, you're still alive. You dipshit. I hate you so bad.
He is still alive.
yeah.
He's 80.
Yeah.
Wow.
Your middle name's Lynn. You suck. Just so bad.
Now, Trash Can David, or whatever you
Garbage
are.
man.
That's fine, Garbage Man.
Garbage.
If you ever come over here and use that Sparky big time phrase, I'm done.
Believe it.
Go ahead.
It's over. Anyway, did you want to get into the next?
No, you've done such a great job.
Yeah, you're like the, Jesus of voice,
And we don't have to cover every single one of them. We can cover like a couple of the big ones.
So, yeah, the second one is, as I mentioned before, was a woman named Catherine Bright. I believe that she was 20. She was in her 20s, 24, 21?
21, yeah.
Okay. And she had a younger brother that ended up being president. That was named Kevin. Yeah. So he actually followed this woman around. I believe he described her hair as being, dishwater blonde? Or
It was,
like
yes, dishwasher blonde. Which, do you know what that means?
No.
That is when somebody is trying to get their hair colored and they leave the toner on too much. So it turns like a gray, mucky, muddy look.
Ugh.
Obviously, I had that issue, and this is why I ended up looking the way that I did.
Well, now we had to put Chris on blast now with this. Thanks. He's going to be upset now. He's got a complexion with his hair, so.
One time I was dishwater blonde. Anyway, so he followed this girl around for quite some time prior to planning his devious dentist attack on her. And what time of day did this take place at, do you know?
I have it here. I think they said it was around 1 p.m.
Okay,
Yeah.
So once again, right smack in the middle of the day, this guy goes and I believe he was trying to come up with another fancy way of working his way into the house. He always comes up with like an excuse as to, oh, I'm poor, or oh, my car broke down, or oh, I just want to.
According to Kevin, the intruder, which was Rader, obviously, had told him that he needed money and a car to escape from the California police. At gunpoint, he forced Kevin to tie up his sister.
Oh, okay. So Kevin ties up his sister, and then I believe he tried to tie up Kevin, and then Kevin ended up getting loose.
He was tied up and gagged. He separated him from his sister. Yeah. A few minutes later, the man tried to strangle Kevin with a rope, but Kevin resisted and was shot twice, once in the head and once in the mouth.
Well, he initially shot him in the head, and then he thought that Kevin died when he shot him in the head.
Probably shot him with that same crappy gun.
He laid there and pretended he was dead until he heard his sister struggling.
Well, yeah, and then his sister was, old Dennis was over and messed with his sister, and he came back too, and he heard Kevin actually moving, and found he was alive, so he went back, and he got into a struggle with Kevin, and he ended up shooting him again, and from my understanding, it actually shot out a couple of his teeth because he shot him in the mouth.
Yeah, when police went to the crime scene, they found 2 of Kevin's teeth.
Right. So He ended up shooting Kevin in the mouth. Once again, I believe...
He also cut his leg on a door jam.
Well, yeah. Dennis did a lot of dumb things. So he went back and started attacking Catherine again. And like, once again, bumbling moron. Like, this isn't like ninja shinobi shit here. You know, this is like bumbling moron Dennis, like, trying to get it done and failing miserably. You shot a guy in the head and he didn't die.
Yeah.
The hell is the matter with you?
Yes, that was with that same 22 that he shot him with.
And there actually were multiple cases, I believe, if you look it up, where a 22 has actually shot people in the head and is bounced off of their skull or has traveled around underneath their skin on the skull and not actually penetrated their head, because due to the fact that it's such a low caliber. But anyway, and I think this probably was an angle involved and all sorts of, I don't know, I'm not a ballistics guy. But so he went back, was trying to kill Catherine again, and I believe Kevin actually got up. Didn't he just run out of the house?
He did. He escaped and got help for his sister. And then this was not associated at the time with BTK. They just thought it was an intruder for a robbery went bad.
Right. So Dennis, being the asshat that he is failing miserably at trying to actually choke out this woman. So what he does is he pulls out a hunting knife. I believe it was an 8-inch hunting knife, and he stabs her 11 times.
Yeah, it was.
Jeez.
It was that same knife that he used to cut. All of his victims had this in common, where he would cut every single one of the phone lines.
That's because he's Dennis. He's crazy, devious phone line
and
cutting.
Didn't he leave the knife at the Ortera house?
Yeah, but he went back and got it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just
same knife. Yeah.
Were you here?
Yes.
Were you here?
I
love my brain.
I need my brain to continue my reading, so I don't mess up.
Okay.
Plus, I'm responding to our fans.
Oh, okay. Sorry, folks, for pulling her away from you guys.
Yeah. So anyway,
social media manager at work.
Kevin ended up running, I believe, across the street. He ended up flagging down a guy. Ended up getting the cops called. The cops showed up. Dennis fled. And I believe he actually tried to steal their truck, but I think he grabbed the wrong keys.
He did. He took the wrong keys. He ended up taking the car keys that were stuck behind, like in front of the truck, and grabbed those and tried to get in the truck, but couldn't. But they found blood on the ground from him.
Yeah, so this idiot couldn't get a truck to start because he grabbed the wrong damn keys. So he ended up running across town or wherever back to his car, I believe. So the cops showed up. Unfortunately, Catherine.
They were able to rush her to the hospital, but she succumbed to her injuries.
I think 3 hours later or something like that, she ended up unfortunately passing away. But Kevin did live. And I believe that he has actually done shows.
There is. Yeah, there's a movie. And then also with the Ortera family, Charlie, the 15-year-old who survived, there is a full-blown documentary calling I Survived BTK, and it follows him around.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm gonna check that out.
It's pretty good. Pretty good.
So,
and then 3 years after her, he did another murder.
Right, which was that Shirley Vian or Shirley, what was it, Relford or something like that?
Shirley Vian, no, it was Nancy Fox in 1977.
Yeah.
Shirley Vian in 90, in December.
Yeah.
So that was 3 years.
Shirley Vian was much prior to.
Yeah.
Yeah. I didn't find
77.
They briefly mention her, but it's nothing like big like they did with Fox, because he gave her a nickname.
Shirley Vian was actually a large story.
She was?
Yeah.
Shows you what my thing printed.
Yeah, actually, Shirley, that story was, Dennis actually went to her house. I believe he actually had the intent to kill somebody that wasn't Shirley.
He did, and then he saw the little boy.
Right.
I remember this one.
Oh, yeah,
I remember this one. This one made me want to strangle him.
Yeah, this one's sad too. Yeah.
This is really.
It's not as bad as the Otera family, but it is still absolutely awful.
Yeah.
Well, you want to talk about it?
Dennis originally was not planning on killing Shirley Vian. He came across her after he witnessed one of her sons outside. He had a picture of his wife and, at the time, baby daughter in his wallet and used it to lure the child and say, "Have you seen this person?"
To actually show the child his own wife and child's actual picture.
And then he watched the other way and watched where the child went and walked up to the house. Shirley Vian wasn't supposed to be there that day. She was homesick. Extremely sick, too.
Jeez.
That figures.
Yeah, right.
He showed her the picture of the family as well, and then ended up forcing his way in. Shirley Vian had 3 children. All of them, one of them was 8, the rest of them are under 8. The 2 boys and then a little girl. BTK, Mr. Rader, decided to put them in a closet
I would
in the
never
bathroom.
call him Mister. He's a douche. Don't ever.
I
fucking
don't.
do that.
I don't.
He doesn't deserve
Dumbass
Mr.
Dennis.
Yeah,
Dumbass. I like it.
Dumbass Dennis.
Mister.
No, don't.
Oh, no.
No.
You can't call him Dad.
No.
Okay, dumbass Dennis. Dennis took the children and shut them in the bathroom. But with that side where we said how he comforted the Ortera family, he gave the kids blankets, pillows, books, and toys, and a snack to make sure they were good. While he then took their mother and bound her feet and ankles, undressed her.
I believe that didn't she throw up and
Yes.
he actually
She did
gave
while he was choking
water?
her. Yeah. He was choking her. She threw up, and then he gave her water.
Yeah. What a
Yeah.
nice guy.
Yeah, he's such a
Like-
nice,
Just an
gentleman.
accommodating. You know,
I'm going to strangle you. Oh, crap. You threw up. Here, have some water. I'm going to strangle you again.
Are you thirsty? What kind of water? You got any bottled water in the fridge?
He bound her, tortured her, killed her. She was found, I believe, with a bag over her head. Like, draped over it, pretty much.
The shit of it is with this guy, you know, he says BTK. Obviously, once again, self-prescribed nickname, you douche. Anyway, but he wasn't really torturing anybody. So, like, this guy was a little bit different than the guys we've covered in the past. This guy was not, like, cutting people open. He was not removing organs. He was not dismembering people. He was not... His idea of torture was the helplessness. That's what he got off. That was his idea of torture, was the point where they were bound and they were unable to prevent what was going to happen. That was his idea of... It was more of a mental torture than anything. Because once again,
Emotional abuse.
and maybe somebody can correct me if I'm wrong, but I do wholeheartedly believe that this guy was not a criminal mastermind. He was not bringing people to the edge of death and then bringing them back like some sort of torture expert like you see in a freaking movie.
Yeah.
This guy just sucked at what he was doing.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, it's... I don't know. I feel like at certain points he was almost panicking, like we had talked about before, you know, almost panicking when they almost get there. Oh, and he's stupid too, so he probably thought, "Oh, okay, well, all right, well they're knocked out, so they're dead, even though they were just unconscious."
Right.
And then they come back to again.
He probably had no idea that maybe you check for a heartbeat or something like that.
Yeah, he probably didn't even know what a pulse was.
No,
you know?
no. He's like, my fingers hurt.
Yeah.
And I'm
you're
going to
right.
use a belt. Oh, the belt doesn't work. I'm going to use a bag.
I should
Oh, he
use
bit
my
through the
stress
bag.
ball.
Oh, shit.
He did wrap, he had a plastic bag draped over her head, and she was partially undressed. Investigators found BTK's signature cord wrapped tightly around her neck. The kids were the ones who broke out and got help.
Well, they broke out of the bathroom. I believe they broke the glass out of the window.
Well, he later did confess that, yeah, you're right. He did intend to kill the kids, but
He wanted
The
to, in his
phone
words,
rang.
he was going to hang them the same way he did Josephine, all 3 of them.
yeah,
And
the family phone rang and one of the children shouted that somebody would be visiting soon.
let me tell you, like, when I heard this, I want to strangle this man. If I had the opportunity, I would.
So bad.
Yeah.
I hate him so
How
bad.
do you take innocent children and do something like that, or even think about it? They have done absolutely nothing, and you are just a piece of shit.
And
Yeah.
if we went down the road and we didn't, for the sake of everybody, quite honestly, because I think that there was,
There was
screams from the bathroom, things like that, where the kids were saying, like, "Don't hurt my mommy," kind of stuff, and
they
that
were
kind of stuff.
crying for
I
help
mean,
the whole time and
it's
trying to
like
get
an
him to stop.
absolute stating, make your heart go in your throat.
Yeah, absolutely.
Disgusting.
Yeah, when you bring, you know, Jackie, like she said, when you bring in, innocent kids into anything, I mean, doing this, period, to anybody is messed up. But when you're bringing the kids into it, they have their whole life ahead of them. I mean, they didn't do anything. They're just there with their parents, family. And then you're coming in and you're disrupting everything and taking their life. And it's just, you got to be a whole nother level of fucked up.
Yeah. Yeah.
When you start bringing the kids into it. I mean, you're already messed up for doing what you're doing, but when you bring the kids into it, it's like, damn, man, it's sad.
Yeah.
Now, the next victim, I believe, was Nancy Fox. And she was one of the only victims that was found fully clothed. He just found her, tortured her, and strangled her. There was no sign of sexual assault or sexual abuse or anything like that.
Man.
Do you think he just didn't find her attractive, just wanted to kill her?
Project Fox Hunt.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I'm looking at a picture of her on here, and she's not bad on the eyes,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Maybe, I mean, he liked the one blonde, and Nancy's blonde.
There really wasn't anything that like stood out that was specific to I don't know that met his criteria. But the scary thing is that this guy just would catch you walking down the street or checking your mail at your mailbox, or buying a burger at a fast food restaurant, or walking into a store or something like that, and it would just click.
It was like if he sees you, he's going to take you.
And
You're done.
he would just totally just be infatuated with you almost instantly, and he would decide that you were it.
Yeah.
So it's like at that point in time with that kind of stuff going on, hell, I wouldn't even want to go outside.
Yeah, so you're saying he wasn't even looking for like a
he didn't have
particular
like
kind of person.
Right, because I heard that like actually like Josephine was one of his main targets of the terror family. It wasn't even necessarily the mother or anything. Like he was actually after the 11-year-old girl.
No,
Like,
he was after the mother.
No, he was after the girl, I believe.
No,
yeah.
he was after the girl. So there wasn't an age range or anything like that he particularly was going after.
Okay.
I mean, it wasn't like I want somebody that's 25 to 30 and they're dead. And it's got to be between
one of his older victims was almost 63.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
And she escaped.
There was no profile exactly for what he was after. It just clicked to him all of a sudden, and he just decided that was it.
So there's one that we had talked about last night that I do want you to mention, just because of the bizarreness with this. You got to tell us about the lady at the television show, Cake TV.
Oh my gosh, Nancy.
Oh yeah, well,
yeah, this is wild.
This is pretty bizarre. So down the road, and this was well after the murders took place. He dealt with Cake TV quite a bit. I think he appreciated them because they aired a lot of the information that he was sending.
Yeah, and they talked about him constantly, and that boosted his ego.
Exactly. Yeah. So he was a big Cake TV. So what he did, I mean, he used to send them a lot of information. He'd send them letters. He'd send them complaints when he wanted to cry about how he wasn't as popular as all the rest of the serial killers. He would complain to Cake TV, but a few weeks actually prior to him being caught, he actually reached out to Cake TV, that old Dennis did, as the head of the congregation of his church, and reached out to them and asked for a tour of their facility, which they ended up granting. So I guess he, along with a few other people from his congregation, actually showed up to this Cake TV, and they took a tour of this place. And Dennis actually went through there, and he sat, according to this Nancy, across from her.
Like this.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like a few feet away from this
Stop,
woman,
Nancy.
having a conversation with her. After he had actually sent in letters to Cake TV and actually named her specifically. Like, he had actually, like, put her name into his letters when addressing them, because Nancy was more of a face, I believe, of Cake TV. She was like she was an anchor.
Yeah.
So she would be, up front and center. So he knew who she was. So when he went in there, she actually sat a few feet across from this guy. And at one point, he actually put his arm around her and took a camera and took a picture of the two of them together. And then only a handful of weeks later, when Dennis ended up actually being caught and his information and his picture was publicized, Nancy actually caught this on TV and saw his picture and was just frozen in fear. Your blood would run cold.
Oh, yeah.
Wasn't
Seeing his picture, and she realized, oh my God, this guy was sitting a few feet from me.
he touched me?
Yeah, and put his arm around me and took a picture.
Didn't they also up the security because she kept getting named in the letters?
Well, I think a lot of women in that town, I think if you were news related, had heightened security, were being walked in cars and things like that.
Yeah, I'm sure. Definitely. But I couldn't even imagine.
The fear of being targeted. Can you imagine, it being her?
Oh, my gosh.
It's terrifying.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
He knows who I am. He only wants to talk to me. He only likes me. This is terrifying.
And the only redeeming thing at that point in time was the fact that he had actually been caught.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah.
I couldn't imagine.
Yeah, I just wanted you to share that. I didn't mean to jump a little bit ahead there. I just wanted you, because that story when you told me about that was just freaking wild,
Yeah. So it goes to show you how involved he was in the community and how active he was. He wasn't just hiding in a house in the basement somewhere, just trying not to get caught. He just didn't care. He was not afraid.
So let's get to, just because sake of time here, how was he caught?
This moron.
How was this moron caught? Because we know this has got to be good,
He called the FBI, changed his voice slightly, and said, if I sent you something from a computer, would you be able to track it?
I believe it was the police. He actually wanted to send them a
floppy, wasn't it?
A floppy disk.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, well, I send you a floppy disk, but he actually wrote out, he actually asked them, he basically said, hey, be honest, if I send you a floppy disk, is this able to be traced?
And the police told him no, and he's a freaking moron.
And yeah, so they actually thought about it and said, wow, should we actually deceive this guy? Is he really that damn stupid?
Yes, he is.
Be honest, if I send you a floppy disk, is there any way you'd be able to find me? Because it would be shitty of you to lie to me and tell me that you're able to find me. And
This is what I imagined it went. Hey, if I send you this, can you find me? No. Okay, I'm gonna send this to you. Yes, we're gonna catch this stupidity.
So Dennis Rader, in his glory, sends over a floppy disk to police, and they immediately look at it and find out that
it was written at the computer at the church.
Yeah, the file was created at the church
with his login.
Under a login for somebody with the name of Dennis. So simply, they did a search to see if there was somebody at the church named Dennis, and wow, the head of the congregation there, his name was Dennis Rader.
He also used to work for ADT too.
Yeah, not even wild detective work, I mean, it was just so happened that he did so much dumb shit, and finally he did something where he actually just like said, "Don't, I don't want you to catch me, so it'll be okay if I do this." Yeah,
Yeah. They didn't have to work real hard to get him.
No, he pretty much was like, "Here, I'm taking credit for this. You're not going to catch me now, but you're going to catch me."
it was an exhausting thing because I mean it was 30 years. This is 3 decades.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, this guy just went on for.
And he went on a hiatus too at one point. Wasn't it like 7 years or 9 years?
At least, I think it was 13 or
14. It was a long time.
From like 91 until 2004.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I don't understand that too. And like we talked about yesterday, and I think we talked about it with Kraft too, because Kraft supposedly went on that hiatus to whatever.
Like, yeah, the hiatus, the break.
But I guarantee you he was still doing stuff during that time.
Oh, it had to be.
There's no way. I mean, what?
Well,
just because all these deaths or any murders or whatever happened, unfortunate situations weren't tied specifically back to him.
Yeah,
is the question. But whether anything actually was due to him, absolutely, I agree. Like, there was more than just.
There was a case recently that they're trying to go back because some of his letters had clues to other victims, because he said that there were other victims as well as the 10 that he confessed to a lady named Cynthia Dawn Kinney. She disappeared from college, but they're still looking to see if there's a match to him.
If it has to do with him at all. Yeah, this guy is. There's just a lot to unpack with this guy, man.
Yeah, I mean, and once again, we could go on for days. I mean, we could talk about this for 4 hours. Like this, we're just skimming the surface here.
And I learned a lot because, like I said, I didn't really know too much. I mean, I had heard of him before, but I didn't know too much. So researching him and learning a lot from you with him is just like, I mean, I'm going to watch some of the stuff on him now because this shit is just, like I said before, you can't make this up. I mean, this guy was flat out fucking stupid, dude.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, like, I listen to this, like, watch the Netflix specials. Watch, some of the other podcasts and things. The Monster podcast regarding Dennis Rader was just unreal.
And these are some of our sources that helped us out with this research.
Morbid as well.
Yeah, Morbid. Awesome podcast. Those girls rock.
Yeah.
They're just,
shout out to them.
They are freaking awesome.
Even they'll never hear us, but
I hope they do one day because they are fantastic. The amount of knowledge that they had and sources that they listed were huge help for us to do all this research. We couldn't have done it without things like that.
Yeah, they're awesome. It's cool, the true crime community kind of that all of us podcasters have and stuff, And,
yeah, like there's lots of Reddit groups, Facebook groups, things like those, and you can find all sorts of information now.
So, since we do this every show, it's time to rate on the fucked up scale of 1 to 10, 10 being the most fucked up and 1 being, boring. Chris, I'm going to start with you since this was your pick. What are you rating this jackass? It's hard.
I hate him so bad. I got to say 11.
Damn, going above it.
I'm going off the scale for DLR here.
Can we just call him Danny Lynn, like a girl? Danny Lynn. Danny Lynn. Danny Lynn.
I have such a disgust for this human. I can't even say that he's a human being.
This monster.
So
he's an animal.
So in 11, he's definitely fucked up, but are you going 11 not so much? I mean, yeah, he's fucked up, but because he's so stupid?
Well, yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed the fact that he was just a bumbling moron and found some crazy way of getting away with all the shit he did with being as dumb as he was. But the children is what gets me.
Yeah.
That's what he had on Dahmer and Kraft and all these other guys, and it just the kids, and just this guy's not even.
No, he's not. Classroom Jackie, what do you rate this guy, 1 to 10?
So DLR is a huge narcissist. And just in case there's ever a chance of him hearing this, and I don't want his ego to go like huge,
Through the roof.
I'm giving him a 3. Just because he's such a fucking moron. He couldn't figure it out. He involved children, but he's also a fucking narcissist, so he's not getting anything better than that from me.
Okay. Well, and we were talking about it last night too, and you guys were saying that you can actually write this guy, and he will tell you everything because he loves that.
I have not found the address lately because there used to be able to, but I don't know if you can now.
Even his interrogation was braggery.
Was it?
Like,
really?
I mean, you listen to this guy. They said he talked for hours after they actually got him to admit who he was. And then he just talked for hours as if he was proud of it. There wasn't an ounce of remorse out of this guy. And from my understanding, even during his trial, the guy, during victim statements and things like that, actually shed a tear or something, which I call bullshit.
It was a forced tear.
Yeah, I
Do you know how you can tell if it's a real tear or not? If it's from the left eye, it's a real tear. If it's from the right, it's wrong.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know that I digest that.
Terminology. Chris is like, I am going to disagree there.
That's fine. You can disagree.
My right eye can cry, and it tells the truth. My right eye tells the truth.
It's got truth serum forever.
Truth serum forever.
I knew because he cried out of his right eye.
Remember that out there, guys. You got to cry out that right eye, So 3 for you. Wow. Okay. I'm trying to figure out in my head this guy is.
There's no right or wrong place because he's just so. 1, he's a moron. 2, he couldn't figure this out. And 3, he's a piece of shit.
She gave him a shitty rating because he's a narcissist, which is actually kind of funny because he actually probably would appreciate that he gave him a terrible rating because of what he had done.
Probably.
So
but you gave him an 11, so he's going to be like, "Oh yeah, I'm at the top of the scale because I surpassed it."
But it's because he's such dog shit.
Yeah,
it's just.
I'm gonna trying to think, but I'm probably gonna give this guy like a 9. He's fucked up and he involved the kids, which is just freaking disgusting. Anybody that does that is a piece of shit and deserves to just be shot on sight. But it's how stupid he is that gives me a little bit under a 10, just because he's so stupid and he tried too hard. It's like that kid in school trying real hard to fit in with the jocks.
Yeah,
mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And you never are. I'm sure other killers out there were just like at the time, like, what the hell with this guy, Well,
there was wasn't there another strangler around the same time as him too, that was doing the same things? And there were some copycats. One guy admitted to it. He was a contractor. He said he wasn't BTK, wrote a letter to the victim's family, said, I wasn't BTK, I'm not BTK, but I admire him and I wanted to copy him.
Oh, God. And that probably grew his head.
Mm-hmm.
DLR, Dick Lickin' Ricky.
Danny Lynn. Danny Lynn. His name is Danny Lynn.
But, so anyways, wow. So yeah, a lot to unpack and unfold with this guy. So hopefully you guys enjoyed tonight's, episode. But as always, want to plug all the social media. Classroom Jackie here is our director of all, social media platforms across the board. Any questions or anytime you ever want to send in anything to the show, it all comes in and goes directly through her.
We also hit 80 followers on our TikTok while we were sitting here.
Followers on the TikTok, and we're just a few away from 100 on Facebook, if I remember correctly.
2. We are 2 away, guys. So, help us get there so we can go live.
Yes, so if you don't follow us, Murder Show on Facebook, please go over there, like it. And of course, the YouTube channel. I am trying to grow that for sure. We're at 35. So if you don't already sub to it, click that button, subscribe, hit the thumbs up there, like it, and share it. What that'll do is that will notify you anytime we go live or anytime I schedule a show for the following week. Other than that, we will see you guys back here next Saturday, our usual time, 7:15 Standard Eastern Time. I believe the week after that we are going to be off. due to some stuff we got going on.
We might have to move it to a Sunday.
We might move it to a Sunday. We'll let you know.
Sunday. Ooh.
But anyways, guys, enjoy the rest of your Saturday evening. Thank you for being here with us. We do appreciate everybody here. And if you don't already, you can find us on all the major streaming platforms, iHeartRadio, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, all that wonderful jazz. So, Criminology, Chris, anything you want to say to the viewers before we dip out?
It's been fun, everybody. I've been a little more vocal this evening.
We do like
Don't
it.
be BTK.
We do like
I'm just
it.
going to talk to everybody.
Classroom Jackie, anything you want to add before we head on out?
Don't be stupid. Don't try to be BTK. It's not going to happen. People are morons.
I will leave you with, I don't really have too much to say. Just, I don't know. Yeah, what they said. Don't be stupid.
Watch out for motorcycles.
Watch out.
Yeah, watch out for motorcycles, guys.
And please, for the love of God, nobody name your dick Sparky. Thank you, folks.
No big times.
Enjoy the rest of your night. We will see you guys all next time.
Same crime time, same crime place.
Bye.
See ya.
Bye.